Welcome back to the workshop, everyone. Weekly selection of jobs for you as per usual. First up, the Villier. It's got a few issues. Customers just picked this up second hand, brought it to me, and yeah, we've got a few bits to look at. Let's have a look. First up, we've got a handlebar that's creaking. It's not only creaking, here's me holding the wheel, and yeah, you shouldn't be able to do that. Also, I'll straighten that back up if I press on this. Not good at all. I mean, to me, the most obvious thing here is none of these bolts are original. They're all aftermarket or a mixture of. This one's way shorter than this one. They're all coming off. Clean it all up, put some proper stem bolts in there. Pretty sure that's going to sort that out. Going to have a look inside this headset, obviously. Make sure there's nothing bad that's causing that to spin. Hopefully it's just a case of these being loose. Let's have a quick look. Take this wheel out first. Like I say, he's just bought this, picked it up last week. Obviously used. It's a older generation Di2 now, that's for sure. Quite a nice bike actually, as long as we can make it work and be safe, more importantly. Oh dear, that didn't sound good, did it? That did not sound good. That was a very strange noise. Oh dear. There we go. A bit crusty, but it looks okay. Bearing feels good. Some resemblance of grease in there. Someone's been in here before, so we'll clean that up and put some fresh in. Top bearing came out no problem. The bottom one is moving, but just being awkward. Yeah, a little bit crusty, a little bit wet actually, but the bearing feels good. We'll clean it up, put them back in. It's like aluminium seats in this. Looks good. Grease just to stop anything potentially seizing. We've got aluminium and steel here. So to test your bearing, sort of press your fingers in a little V like that and press it in there and just turn it. If you feel any sort of notchiness, then it's the time to change it. These feel absolutely beautiful. Don't just spin it in your hand, you need to actually sort of put some pressure in it as well. So wedge your fingers in, turn it, they feel great. Fork looks good, but it looks like someone's chewed the top of it off. And this one here, bit of grease on the O-ring that's on the inside. And it stops it seizing on there. Clean out anything off the top. Nothing in there that's concerning. Good. Get your stem back on. Well, there's no way that is going to tension that because that's bottomed out straight on there before it's anywhere near that. So that ain't going to work, is it? Have a spacer here, that'll do. Just be really careful. If this is flush here, then you're never going to get a tension on it. Whip that down. Try that. Feels good. Sorry, I left it on autofocus. Back on manual. That feels good. Right, I'm going to change all these bolts. Like I say, all these are aftermarket. And I think that is what the issue is. It won't fall out because this is holding it in. I'm not going to grease the bolts, but I am going to put a tiny bit of grease here where this washer seats. These are proper stem bolts with washers that are integrated in. There's no torque setting on the stem, so we'll go for a sort of standard 6. I'll just hold that wheel again and turn the bars. That seems okay on the stand at least. I'll have to get it on the floor in a bit and try again. I think most of the creaking is coming from these. This one's way shorter than this, and there's all sorts of different ones in here. At least 3 different types. So we'll get these out, clean up underneath here, carbon bar. So this is the second one I've had in this week. It's been a used purchase. The other one was just a disaster, but just going to clean all this up. I'm going to put some carbon paste in here. Maximum torque, 4 bolts, sticks, Newton meters. Does actually tell you here, use friction paste, and there was nothing in there, bone dry. So just some on the surfaces that's going to actually touch the bar. Maybe there was, maybe it's dried up. Get it back in. Don't put the cable in there, that would be bad. Torque these up, again 6 Newton meters it says. Okay, moment of truth. There you go, no editing, this is as it is, moment of truth. Silence! And it ain't moving. Sorted. We're going to stick with the same bike for the next one because it ain't doing absolutely nothing. Not slowing the wheel down at all, so let's see what's going on there. So the customer's old wheels, he's put them on this bike. He's changed the rotor over, it's the right size, it's a 160 space set on 160 rotor, so that's correct. They look like they've got a bit warm, don't they? Flipping it. First of all, I'm just going to measure this rotor, to be honest, because it looks a bit tatty. 1.6, 1.58. Could do with a new disc, that's for sure. I don't think that's the main issue. So I'll just spin this and I'll put the brakes on and you will see what it's doing. Right, brakes are now on. Almost nothing there. Somebody's obviously already drilled this out and put a split pin in, as you can do. Pads look brand new. There's absolutely loads of life left on there. So I'm going to take the wheel out, give this a squeeze and see if it's even moving. Put the brakes on now. Pistons are moving, not a lot, but they are moving, so I think it could just need a bleed by the looks of it. The only concern is these ceramic pistons may be broken. This is pretty common on these. Pads are in back to front as well, I'll show you that. Oh, and this is the left hand side of the bike, so they are in back to front. Should be. Anyway, Cosvelo, oh, I don't know. Anyway, they're not Shimano. It says resin, but they look sintered to me. I can definitely see copper in there. Strange. So I'm just going to bleed it and see what happens. Still can't undo this part tool. Jeez, that's ridiculous. Crazy. This nut here that holds the brake hose in, it's got a lot of corrosion on there. I've never seen them corrode before. Anyway, this is one we want, the bleed port. That was extremely suspiciously loose. Dear. Let's see if it actually tightens up. Yeah, it does. Okay. Moving there, plenty of fluid. Could just need a good bleed, so fingers crossed that's all it needs. Shimano bleed cup. I've just added a drop of fluid into that bleed cup and then we go back to the caliper. So now we're going to clean these first because they look pretty grim. A little bit of a mystery as to why this is so not working. Well, I'm not going to put any fluid on there because I want to see if anything leaks when we're actually doing this and getting these pistons in. And I always use my Cushcore tyre lever for that. You need to listen very carefully. If you can hear any cracking noises, then you've got a damaged piston in here. Let me get the other microphone. So let's just push these back in. If you are pushing these back in, do make sure you have your bleed port open. Don't know who's been here before. If they've overfilled the system, you push this in, there's nowhere for the excess fluid to go apart from rupturing the diaphragm. So it's always best practice to open the port on the lever before you do this. So I'll be very quiet. If you can hear any crunchy noises, you've got a bad piston. That sounds okay. That sounds okay. Good. Bleed block, and we'll just bleed it. Get your hose on. Right, let's set up. So I'll just push the fluid through from the back now, and you'll be able to see better than me because the camera's in the way. There you go. You can hear it, I don't need to see it. A ton of air in there. There's one syringe. I'll leave the back end open while I change a new syringe. You can basically gravity bleed itself while I do this. New syringe going on. Like I say, I just left that back end open, so I can't move the camera in time to show you, but and just give itself a gravity bleed while I do that. And then we'll push another syringe through. Okay, tighten the back end up now. There's a lot of fluid in here now, so I'm just going to take some of this out and then just burp the lever. The back end is now closed off. And it's just a case of burping this lever, so I'm going to move the bike through its full range of motion pretty much. Constantly burping that lever. I'll tell you now, that lever feels rock hard, so I think you're okay. Feels good, that does. Happy days. Take this off then. And put your bleed port back in. I'm still a bit suspicious of this bleed port. It seems to be holding. It's nice and dry, because if this comes back again with the same issue, I'll be able to see if it's coming from here. Bleed block out. These Shimano ones, they're fantastic. You don't need a pin or anything unless you're tipping your bike upside down. It ain't going anywhere. Pads back in. Let's put them in the right way this time, just for a laugh. Like that. And a new pin. It's got a thread on this, so I don't really want. Let me see if I've got a bolt. Seems okay. Yeah, fine. No idea. That's okay there. It's an Allen-key, not a flathead screw. A little safety clip on the back. I'm interested. Anybody ever been saved by one of these safety pins? I've never seen one do a job yet, but obviously they're there for a reason, but I've never had a bike ever that's come in where this pin's about to fall out, so let me know. So I was just looking at this rear mech. It's got aftermarket jockey wheels on there, but there seems to be a lot of play somewhere in this knuckle. It's just quite an old mech now though, so let me just check this is tight. Nope. It is now. And that one was super loose. Well done somebody. They come in a bad day. What did I tell you about jockey wheels? Always check. Anyway, back to the brake. Bone dry. Customer was a bit concerned he had the wrong wheels, but they seem okay to me. And just pump your lever, set those pads onto that disc. Feels pretty good. Way past here before, back to here before. That's a nice lever that is. So, bit of a mystery why it should be just so completely bad, but seems to have survived. I've got a few other bits I need to do to this bike, but let's see what we got next for your compilation. Next up we got this Merida. It needs a new rear derailleur. Somebody's crashed into the back of this, bent it, twisted it, and it just doesn't work. The whole cage basically is twisted, so we can't do anything with that. So we're going to swap this out for exactly the same derailleur basically. Pretty straightforward job on this one. Just going to take this cable out first of all. Crimp, squash this in the opposite direction of the crimps, and normally we'll just release it like that. Take this off. Take the actual mech off, obviously. Pretty straightforward this is. Obviously we're going to check this hanger alignment at the same time. Customer was very upset. They're in a 105, 110 mile ride, charity ride, and this happened with 10 miles left to go, so they couldn't finish the ride. Yeah, they weren't happy about it. It's a shame. So we'll just check this hanger alignment. I think it already looks pretty bent actually. People always say you should obviously use the valve itself to do this, but if you just hold it to there and spin the wheel, you can see if your wheel's straight there, and it is. If you've got a problem, obviously you've got a slight buckle that you're not too fussed about, and you want to do the hanger, use the valve as a reference, but I know this wheel's straight, so we're not going to need to do that. The hanger's not straight. Oh my god, it's miles out. So this is about best part 2 inches out. This black ring here should be pretty much touching this part here, should be up to sort of a 3mm tolerance, so it's pretty bent. I'm going to try and straighten it, but potentially it's going to need a new hanger at the same time really. I'm just using this as a lever. And that's pretty much straight there. And again, just check it from the top. Bottom is out as well. Right, that's straight now. I'm going to get a new one ordered for this, but for the rest of the video I'll just fit the derailleur and then come back and change this, but I'll show you how to identify what you need basically. Take the wheel out and take the hanger itself off, obviously. They're pretty loose as well, they normally are. Take that off. Then you've got the fun and games of identifying which one you need. I'll remind you again, there's best part of over 400 different types of derailleur hanger. So you can't just go to Amazon and go derailleur hanger order. There's hundreds of them, literally hundreds of them. So you get a good idea what it looks like. Take a couple of pictures, one of the reverse, one of the front. This one has got a mark on it, so it says OP. So now it's time to hit the Google and search for derailleur hanger Merida OP, see if it comes up with a picture. So this page alone from Merida, there are 36 different hangers. Absolutely ridiculous. Nothing's coming up with this OP reference, so it's a matter of going by eye now. Pretty easy to identify this one. You can look at this little scalloped out piece here. Obviously doesn't look anything like this. It needs to look in this picture exactly the same as yours. The pictures on these are normally fantastic. I think a lot of people use AI for this. You just scan it in, I'll try it in a minute, and it pulls up the correct one. So this is looking pretty good. However, it's got 3 holes here, so we know it's not that one. It has this little scalloped out piece here. The same again, 3 holes. 2 holes and a scalloped out piece, so this is looking very promising. Click on that and then you will get a good picture of that. That's exactly the same, and then it should show you a picture of the reverse as well, and that is exactly the same as well. I know that's the right one, 100%. So get that one ordered. It does give you dimensions, etc. as well, and it normally gives you sort of compatibility as to which it fits. Doesn't mention OP on here, unfortunately. And again, there's a couple of notes on here what it fits. It fits Cannondales, Canyons, all sorts. Honestly, it's just the worst thing in the world to try and order. It really is. But I am supremely confident that is a great one for this one. These pictures are normally to scale anyway, so you can clearly see that. If I drop that on there now, it's going to match exactly. So I'm confident that's the right one. Get that one ordered. I've got a fair few hangers in stock. I'm going to check, but the chances of having this one are slim. But I'll have a quick look. No, don't have that one, unsurprisingly. I'm going to try AI, see if it actually works. Upload 2 good pictures of it. identify this hanger. Let's give me a couple of part numbers here. So let's try this, a GH011, definitely not that one. Not that one, hard fail, sorry AI. So that's on order anyway. I'm just going to put this on temporarily for the video and then I'll change it over later. Take 2 minutes. Normally these bolts come with Loctite on them as well. So if yours doesn't, then put a drop of blue Loctite on it. Like I say, I'm taking this off again probably tomorrow, so I'm no point doing that. Quick release actually holds this on as well. It's not just these little bolts. Once the wheel's clamped in, it's all clamped in as the wheel anyway. So talking of wheel, get that back in now. Yes, there's a cap missing on there. It's just a cosmetic piece. Let's see if I can find one for the customer. New rear mech, guessing just a little bit of grease on this mounting bolt here. Screw this in. It's not always necessary to change the hanger, but if you're having to realign it by sort of 2 inches, then you're going to be pushing your luck, because it's only aluminium and they are very, very soft. Be sort of one hit and get it changed over. You can always use this as a spare in your saddlebag. It's still usable, don't get me wrong, but like such a big correction, I'd always change it. Next up, we got to just set the limit screws on this before you put a chain or cable on. That's super easy. So now it's a matter of getting the high and low limit screws adjusted. So you can see the jockey wheel there. It needs to sit directly underneath this high sprocket here. So it just needs to come in ever so slightly on there. And again, on the low sprocket, pull that over. You can see that's nowhere near there, basically. It needs to come over sort of another 10 mil yet before it will actually be anywhere near the sprocket. So I'll just adjust those limits. So high just needs to go in a tiny bit, like that. And low, just pull it over. I'm pulling the derailleur that way with my hand whilst I'm unscrewing that. And that looks pretty good there. That looks pretty good on high now. That looks pretty good there for low gear as well. We'll get the chain on. It might need to just a microscopic little tweak like this, but it should be pretty close. I'm going to put a new link on there because it was pretty loose fit when it came off, so I'll change that over now. It needs to have a nice positive click. I dug out the old part tool one because that Shimano one was just struggling for some reason. Like that. Click through the cable back in now. Check your gear levers in the highest gear position, which is screw this in, then unscrew it 2 turns. And you've got adjustment both ways there, and then you've got to get this used cable through here without fraying it. Just be careful. Clip in there. Pull that fairly tight on this one, and just nip it up. Just make sure you actually got it underneath a plate. It's quite easy to miss it sometimes, and that's where it should be there. Tighten that. Get a new cap on there. Apparently these are not pretentious anymore. If you know, you know. Last up, we've got to look at the B screw. So drop it onto your smallest chainring, biggest sprocket. So B screw, we're looking for sort of a 6mm gap between this pulley wheel here and the actual sprocket itself, so it's a bit small at the moment, so we're going to adjust the B tension to pull it down there like that. I'm just putting that back so the B screw isn't actually resting on the stop while I adjust this. That's as much as it's giving me, basically. That'll be okay. It's a matter of indexing the gears. Easy. Go down to the smallest one. Biggest chain ring. I'm going to push the gear lever, make sure all this is settled down. It's the old housing, so it shouldn't do anything, basically, but just to make sure. Drop it down there and then go for 1 gear. Nowhere near. So we need a lot more cable tension. That's still trying to get up here now. I've left the gear lever in that position. So just unscrew this. That's up. Another turn. Back down and up. Really clunky coming down there, you see, so we know we still need a little bit more tension to go up there smoothly. Very clunky. Another turn on there and try again. Smoother. And down, quieter. Lovely. Stick it in the middle. No reason why this should be out, but let's just check it while we're here. Okay, and that's okay. Job done. Like I say, I'll revisit this tomorrow when that hanger arrives. All I've got to do basically take the wheel out, unscrew that, put it back together. It's literally a 2-minute job. You need to learn how to do this before you end up needing to do it on the side of the road. So I would highly recommend you grab yourself a spare hanger for your bike, even if you don't need it. Keep it in your saddlebag, but practice at home how to change this. It's a 2-minute job. If you're doing it at 5 o'clock when it's getting dark and it's raining and you're struggling to get home, you don't want to be finding out how to do it for the first time there. So practice at home with a spare one. Right, what's next? Just before we look at this next one, a quick pause to say a massive thanks to Sport and Leisure for sponsoring today's video. You know, there's nothing worse than being right in the middle of a job, only for everything to come to a grinding halt because the part you're expecting today, you ordered, said it'd be here today, Where is it? Nowhere to be seen. It is so frustrating. Believe you me, I've been there so many times. Sometimes it's not even in the same country you ordered it from. That's exactly why I use Sport and Leisure. They're based right here in the UK. Their stock levels are 100% live. So it's on the shelf, ready to go. Get your order in before 3 PM. It's dispatched the very same day with free delivery on all UK orders. Plus next day delivery is only £2.50. Just a no-brainer when you're trying to keep the job going. So they've also updated the channel discount scheme for you. If you head over to sportandleisure.com/BCR or scan this QR code on the screen right now, it'll automatically generate a 10% discount at checkout off your very first order. Buying parts anyway, it's an easy way to save a bit of extra cash, isn't it? So the link's in the description below. A massive thanks again to Sport and Leisure for continuing to support the channel. Almost a year now. Thanks guys. Anyway, let's see what we got next. Next up, customers complaining about bad brakes on this e-bike. So have a look at this, or have a listen to this. Ready? Ooh, that is painful. I think we can all guess what's going on here. We'll drop the wheel out and have a look at it because I think we've got a new rotor on this one. Just need to unplug this thing here. It just drops out like a normal bike then. Cut that, unplug that, and it's just a normal bike. The problem is the wheels weigh a ton on these. Ugh, God. Right, oh my God. These are brake pads. This one pretty much unused. This one is all gone and we're down to the bare metal backing plate now. That's obviously what the noise was. There's no brake material left on there, so yeah, really badly set up from factory basically. This caliper's been offset way too far this way and this has just been permanently rubbing basically. So we'll get these pads out, get a new rotor on there and get it aligned, and that's it, easy. You do see this quite a lot. People are just not aware that the noise isn't normal. They just carry on riding it. I think this must be making the right noise for a long time. Fortunately, it's an easy fix. A fairly cheap one as well. Right, there they are. So let's have a look at these. I think we know what this is going to look like. Jesus. They even took half the spring with it as well. Isn't that bad? Yeah, they are what we call toast. Just going to fit a new rotor on this. You can see, well, it's just not worth messing around with for the price of these. They're so cheap now. Fortunately, it's the standard one. Some of these hub motors have a much bigger central size. Yeah, this is a normal one. Because I ain't got one of them in stock, so that's lucky. So this bike has done 2,299 kilometres. It's on the computer thing. In fact, it looks like it's done about 20 kilometres. It's in fantastic condition. Apart from this bit. Funny one on. Drop a Loctite on all these. Probably a bit more than a drop, but never mind. Front brake needs bleeding as well, but I'm not going to do that in this video. And the gears needed a microscopic tweak, which I've already done. But like I say, apart from that, it's in great condition. It's got the world's cheapest Shimano Derailleur on it. You pay so much money for an e-bike just to get the electric bits, and then just really save where they possibly can. And it's literally a Derailleur off a kid's bike. It's not the best, but it works. That driver doesn't torque them, it gets it to about 3 or 4 Newton meters, and it's a final tighten down. It just saves a lot of time in the shop. Obviously we've got to get this piston back in because it's miles out. Like that. When EBC's in this, fantastic pad, big fan of these. Obviously give it all a good clean first. Bit of cleaner. So all of the boxes, 6 of them, they're really, really good. So I've been using automotive stuff in a big can for years, and I've tried this finish line stuff and I thought it was all the same, but I can tell you now it does a much better job. I don't know what else is in it, but it does a great job. What is new? New pads going in. Excuse the birds outside. Making a bit of noise. And a new split pin in there. So I'm not upgrading my tool for these yet. I know a lot of people have recommended some Nipex ones. Don't worry, they're in the basket. Right, so that bit is done. Get this wheel back in, then we can get this properly aligned like it should have been when it was sold. This is always where the phone rings. Oh, a customer comes. Right in the middle of this. There you go. I've got all the pies holding the tyre up at the moment. I just need to check which side this cable went. Doesn't make much difference, but it gets very close to the rotor on the other side, so if you're not sure, just check your video that you recorded 2 minutes ago. It's on the inside. Plug this in, it's just 2 little arrows. I'll just clip in. Put your cable tie. Make sure you get this on, otherwise there's a risk of it hitting the actual rotor itself, which would not be ideal. That's on. So obviously the important bit here is to get this caliper centered over this rotor. There's a very, very small window. I'm not going to be able to show you what I'm doing, but it's just 2 5mm bolts here. Move it around until you can see literally this from the other side. You'll see the rotor central in the pads that you've just put in. Quite easy. I'll turn that now. Still rubbing. That's with everything brand new. I'll just back these off. I love the way they put the frame in the way of these bolts on after. Some of them are thought out really well. Some of them like this are just ridiculous. However, what you can use is these part tool little stubby Allen keys. This is the 5mm one here. You don't have a problem with clearance of the frame there. That goes underneath it, no problem at all. So it can be quite useful for things like this. Loosen them off. I mean, if you believe everything on the internet, what you need to do now is squeeze the brake lever, hold it on, tighten it up. Trust me, never ever works. I'm not even going to try. Can't do camera, see if I can get you in there with this one. So I can just about get you in there, look. So you're looking for an equal amount of daylight either side of that basically. So with those loose, you can just push the caliper over until you can see the same amount of daylight through there, and then just nip it up. You don't need to undo them much, just literally half a turn so they start moving. And that's it, don't take the bolts all the way out or anything daft. And it should be that. We'll just spin the wheel now. Not rubbing. Good. So with that bit done, it's just going to be pressing the brake lever several times to bed those pads into the rotor. And see if it rubs then, hopefully not. Got a bit of a rub, so it's just a matter of fine tuning that until you get rid of that. Everything's brand new. Doesn't mean the rotor's super straight. Quite often they are not particularly straight even when they're new, which is annoying. I can see it just wants to go that way a tiny bit. Quite often you'll get away with just undoing this one here. Just a little bit like that, and then push it over with your thumb. And it should pivot over just a tiny amount. All you're looking for is width of a piece of paper basically. Hold that air, tighten that down. Well, that's the tyre rubbing on the mudguard that you can hear now. It's not the brake. I'll sort that in a minute. There you go, sorted. So I'll get it on the sinter machine, get it bedded in, and that's done. Right, let's get this on. Ugh. Job done. I just got to bleed the brakes on this and a couple of other bits, but look at this. I think it's literally the cheapest derailleur that Shimano make on a bike. It's probably the best part of £1,000, £1,500. Pay all the money for the electric bits, and then the rest they just compromise like crazy. But anyway, I'll carry on with this and let's see what we got up next. Next up, we've got a box bike to build. No idea what this is, claw butt or something, whether. Let's have a look. Excuse the safety crocs. 35 degrees later apparently, so biggest tip I'll give you building a box bike is these things here. These things are deadly. They're either going to scratch your brand new bike or they're going to rip your arm open. That's me how I know. So before you do anything, take all of these out. Right, recycling. You just drag it out of the box. It'll come out one piece pretty much, like that. Get your saddle. There'll be another box in here, don't forget that. This bit, there's going to be your pedals and other bits and pieces. Careful when you get this out because that crank is through these spokes. You just get it out carefully. Yeah, this is obviously a pretty low-end bike. We've got a quill stem in here that they haven't fitted. That's nice of them. And before we do that, we'll put this seat post in. There's a load of grease in there already, which is nice of them. This is a super low-end bike, I'll tell you that. This is almost BSO sort of quality. The components on this. Here's a Shimano derailleur there. That's good. Okay, let's get it in the stand. Right, let's find this stem. Instructions, or you could just watch YouTube. There's the stem that we need. God, that's sturdy. Radio reflectors, pedals, front wheel quick release. If you ever do come across a quill stem like this, get some grease on it because these love to seize up, especially this cast bit down here. Couple of bolts on here for the bar. These are normally assembled, this bit, and I'll tell you how many of these I've done in my career in retail. I added it up once and I got to the figure of somewhere like 30,000, so it seems ridiculous, but trust me, at Christmas time the amount of bikes you're building is just absolutely ridiculous. Over sort of 15 years building complete shops worth of bikes, there's a lot. Safe to say it's in the tens of thousands. There's some little lines here to tell you where it's central. All of this is just super cheap steel, you know, you don't need, there's nothing marked for a torque wrench here, just crank it up nice and tight on these. You're not going to break anything, this is built like a bridge. So with that bar in, this is where so many people get it wrong, it's not even funny. This fork has been fitted like this in this direction, so it'll fit in the box. If you spin it around, it sort of sticks forward 2 inches further. That's why they do it like that, to make the box as small as possible for shipping. It doesn't live like this. The amount of bikes you see riding around where people have put it together, no idea what they're doing, and the fork's been on backwards for the life of the bike is unbelievable. So just spin it around to where it should be, which is that way. If you've got brakes, they go on the front. If you've got a disc brake, it goes on the left. Yes, there's one or two very obscure bikes out there, very obscure, the opposite. I'm not going to mention those in this video. 99.9% are going to be this way. It's just a matter of taking more packaging off. It's just really a matter of PDI in it. I mean, these tyres are flat as a pancake, suspiciously flat, as in maybe punctured. I mean, they're normally a bit flat because they've been sat on the shelf for a while, but these are completely flat. Before we put the pedals on, make sure you get some grease on these threads. There's normally a million stickers on here that says left and right, but if you look at the end of the pedal, it tells you anyway. Get the bearings on that. I can turn the thread by the pedal. Wow. These cheap ones don't even have bearings in them, they're just bushes. I've done a video completely just about building a box bike, so if you want a bit more detail, maybe check that one out there, because it's a bit longer than this little clip will be. Okay, so we can just check the gears now, but before you do that, just settle these housings in, because I can guarantee you these have not been done. So what we need to do with that, shift it down to the smallest one. And on the gear lever, to press this as if you're going up to first. Keep going, not pedaling here, just pressing this lever. And what it's going to do is settle all those plastic housings in like that, and then just release it. Check the gears now, almost certainly won't work because they've not done that in the factory. Go for one gear. Oh, we did. Actually quite a nice shift. So it leans a little bit more tension. See how I struggle to get up there? That's because we've done all that settling in. A couple of turns on there, back down, try that one again. Perfect. Pretty good considering. Front, do the same, drop it down to the smallest chainring. It's less effective on the front because all it's doing is pushing against there and there. It will just help a little bit. And then go for one shift there. No problem, no problem, no problem. All good. Gear's pretty good, considering the quality of the components on there. And then for goodness sake, take this stupid sticker off. That's factory should take that off. That's only there so they can thread this, and then it comes off. Brakes are actually working pretty well, but this pad is just a little bit on the low side for me. The other side's good. So I'm just going to raise this up a fraction. Pro Max. I mean, there's nothing pro about this, sorry. Check the other one's tight while you're there. Check this is tight, one of the most important bolts. That's good. Front wheel, just obviously unhook that brake first of all. Shun Feng, these hubs are. I'm going to do a video at some point about BSOs, bicycle shaped objects. I'm not sure what it's going to look like yet, but I'm going to do something. Throw this brake back on, see how it looks. Pretty good actually, out of the box. Pad alignment, pretty atrocious, flipping heck. Wheel straight. I'm about to dive underneath the rim there, there's only half of that actually touching it. That's a bit better. Inside's just as bad. The cable shouldn't be sitting here. Pull it forward to sit with the rest of its cables. Like that. Nice natural curve on it there. Pump this one up. So with the wheel in, we could just check the alignment of this handlebar next. So from the top of the bike, you're just eyeballing it from where your seating position is, get the stem obviously in line with your wheel. And this bolt here on a quill stem, again, this needs to be tight. Like that. Yeah, pretty much done. Bell and reflectors. The gear bell and a couple of reflectors. It's up to you if you want to put them on. British standard says they need to be supplied. It's a bike, gets people out and about. So you tend to find different manufacturers sort of build it to a different level. Just the pedals, some of them they're completely built. All you do is turn the bars out the box. Some of the higher end like Canyons, etc. But sort of lower end stuff like this, it's normally pedals, handlebars, chuck a wheel in, pump tyres up. Just check it's actually working and yeah, good to go. Pretty straightforward really. A lot of people charge just crazy money for this. I've seen bike shops looking at 70, 80 quid to build a bike. It's just 20 quid's work, it's half an hour, job done. So yeah, not too difficult. Anyway, this one's good to go. So I hope you enjoyed that little compilation. This bike here is for one of the Saturday videos. You might have already seen it, I've lost track, I've got that many videos on the go. Anyway, if you do enjoy the content and you like seeing this sort of thing, then you might want to consider hitting that subscribe button. It really does help me out. Got a massive target of 100,000. Not quite there yet, I'm about a third of the way there. But with your help, I can probably get there. Anyway, with that said, thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you again very soon. Okay, new hanger. You don't believe me, do you? I got a new cap as well. There you go. Alright, see you again next week.